good segue, and let's talk a little bit about the sales funnel and how branding elements work throughout the sales funnel. Stephen, I think you had, let's start with the top of the funnel first.
Well, I mean, the top of the funnel is always awareness. People need to know what your brand is. If you don't have awareness, then you're not going to go anywhere. What I like to equate it to is ad buying. If you're doing Google AdWords, it's cheaper to buy a Google AdWord for your brand name, like Square, than it is to buy a broad search term. Absolutely. Credit card processing, always cheaper. So if you're effective in your brand marketing and your awareness, your ad buys later down the line are going to be much, much cheaper. So it's something that people understand that equation. I see a nod over there by Jay. I think that's really, really critical. The other thing is social media. And somebody mentioned trust and value and trust. Social media is critical because that's where people learn from friends and family. Do I trust this product? Did this product help somebody I know? We were talking about this too, Cindy. So the more you can actually be active in your social media presence, the more you can head off bad turns. Because somebody will say negative about you. You have to stay on top of it. And people will appreciate that. The fact that you actually reach out to somebody who had a bad experience and they say, wow, this brand cares about me. They care about us. And again, Facebook, et cetera, people will talk about brands they like. They have a personal connection to that brand. So throughout the sales funnel, continuing to develop that trust, the sales funnel's gotten longer because people are taking more time to look at things. They have more access to information. So the goal of a really strong brand identity would actually shorten that sales cycle.
And you bring up an interesting point, which probably goes to retention, and sorry if I'm jumping ahead, but in my experience in customer service, we found that there is no more loyal customer than the one who had a problem, but you took care of them. The average customer in this one company I worked at, they ordered 8 times in their lifetime. So if after order number 6, they had an issue with their order, it was late or it was wrong, and they had to call customer service, oh my gosh, we are so sorry, we're going to take care of it. If you handle that right, that customer becomes your single most loyal customer because they had 6 acceptable experiences. I ordered, I got it. It was what I expected. When I had a problem though, they hooked me up. They took care of me, and that's really where you cement your retention, and that's where you cement loyalty to your brand, is if you can help that customer out post-purchase or after they become, you get them in the funnel and you want them to try your brand, and when they come out the other end of the funnel as a customer, if you can take care of them, you'll own them. You'll own them forever, and that's really where the long-term profitability of any business lies, is in retention.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned loyalty because I'm thinking about some things that we buy on just by being reactive, like cable, like Comcast in my backyard, right? Terrible service. The minute somebody comes in, so you're buying them with frequency, you're buying them all the time. The minute somebody comes in and has a better product, they're gone.
Or so $1 cheaper.
$1 cheaper, right? They're going to be gone because they have not built brand loyalty. The fact that somebody just buys something over and over again does not mean that they're a loyal customer.
Though I've got a counter, Cablevision, which I have in New Jersey, and I'm semi-technical, and I'm more technical than most guys my age, I would say, would be the best way to describe it. And you come home, you want to turn on the TV, TV's not working. And I've called Cablevision a couple of times, and there's an automated thing, and you get someone on the phone and they say, press this, do this, turn this off, turn it on again, and the TV comes back on. I love these guys. I mean, I hate paying them because the rates go up every year, but I gotta say, when I've had a problem, I have no internet. Like, I've got teenagers. That is the end of the world as we know it. Yeah. I need to fix this now, and it's happened, I would say, 3 or 4 times. I've gotten these people on the phone, press this, do this, turn this off, I'm going to ping the system. Is it on? Like, yeah. Wow. Again, I'm not a big fan of that utility, but I have to say, they figured out a way to turn my TV on when it didn't work. And for that, I continue to send them way too much money every month.
I think it's, I know that you only asked about the top of the funnel, but I think it is hard not to talk through all the stages because then you see the big picture, right? And I want to talk in simple human terms, and I'm going to use the human example. Think about it as dating, right? in dating, I agree with Stephen. First and foremost, you need awareness. So the question is how branding informs the sales funnel. In the awareness phase, you want to be where your potential customers are. If you are dating, and let's say you want to date certain people at a certain time, if you want to date the artsy museum-going guys, show up at the museum. So in the awareness, by understanding your customer, you know where they are, and you are there for them. Because nowadays, the age of mass advertising is over. Even if you have $1 million, it's just a waste of money to put it on TV. You want to be where your customers, where your prospective customers are. And then the next stage in terms of the consideration, I call it as, really talk to them in their language. You really understand their needs. So for Jay, when it comes to Comcast, for him, speed is really important. He has teenagers, that's the end of the world for them. If I were the trainer in customer service at Comcast, I would say speed is very important to Jay. Make sure that you really talk to him in that language. So that's the consideration phase. You want to talk to their needs in their own language. And then the third stage in the funnel is about acquisition, when the customer make the decision to buy you. That is where you really want them to know your value prop. What is the brand promise? Because they buy your brand promise. They want to know what you have to offer, meet them at their needs. And I try to be brief here because I'm sure other panelists will have a lot to add on as well. After they have made the decision to buy you, that is when it goes to conviction. And that is where the first impression, I was talking to Stephen long and hard about the first impression, although it was for Greek islands. The first impression is very important. That is the moment of truth when you order. I just ordered Roomba from Amazon. That first moment of truth when you open Roomba and you hear that beep, beep, it's like, oh, my robot is ready to serve me. Like you have to think through, like Roomba blinking his eyes. Like you have to think through the whole, Lucien talked about the experience. You have to think through all the moments, all the experience that you provided in that moment of truth, so that you earn the heart of the person that you are dating. You spend so long to date that person. You want to win over the heart in the very first moment of truth. And then when it comes to loyalty, again, back to the dating example, right? You know that the guy or the gal is the keeper if the person don't hang up the call when you call middle of the night and say, hey, I think I need to go to ER. When you have the problem, that is when the relationship is tested. So in order to earn that retention, that loyalty, just forget about that marketing language. You need consistency of the experience, especially when you hit the bumps on the road, right? I think that's very key.
Can I piggyback on your analogy?
Sure.
Your metaphor?
Yeah.
So there's a couple kinds of dating. And then one, you're going to have this long-term relationship.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's what you're talking about,
Yeah.
but we're not, we're all grown-ups and we know there's another kind of dating out there where maybe the relationship is never destined to be long-term. And perhaps maybe you've got a transactional service that you're selling. That happens and then it's over, right? So without being crude, to extend your metaphor, how are they going to talk about you after, right? How bad will they feel about the decisions that they made that night after that date? And will you have a champion or will you have a critic when they're done? So part of, a big part of my philosophy around branding is, and apropos of nothing, well, of this I guess, I studied languages and linguistics, so I'm always thinking about language and about controlling the narrative, right? And controlling the discourse around your thing and giving people in your brand the language that you wish they used to talk about you, right? Again, my syntax, but how will people talk about you when you've left the room? How will your date talk about you when you've had a lovely evening, everything went great, but it's just not a long-term deal? How will they tell their friends about the experience? How will they talk about the product? All of these things need to be baked into when you're doing these, and I'm jealous because I haven't had necessarily that in-depth experience that a bunch of you guys do, and Lucien, that you mentioned, but where you're really going deep and saying, this is not just who we are, but this is how we choose to be spoken about. This is how we identify, and we're going to buy through our traditional advertising, through our marketing, through our social media, through all kinds of other devices, even through our logo, we're going to define how people talk about us when we're not in the room. Plus, it's just a fun metaphor.
whole new level.